Hi everyone.
Hi.
This is the RA panel portion of our online experience. So we have 5 amazing resident assistants who are going to introduce themselves with their names, their buildings, their majors, and something interesting about them. Kat, would you like to begin?
So my name is Kat Ramirez, actually Catalina. I'm a pre-nursing and Spanish major. I am the RA for H2 North. And something interesting is I've dyed my hair every color that there is.
That's not my very natural hair.
No, unfortunately it's not.
Hello, my name is James Worcester. I'm an RA. I'm an RA up in University Glen Town Center, Building B. I am a double major in sociology and political science. And something fun is that I've never dyed my hair any color.
I'm Brooke Gould, and I'm an RA for D2 in Santa Cruz. My major is psychology, and a fun fact is I like cinnamon on my spaghetti. I can't eat it anymore.
Hi, my name is Ashton Rodriguez. I am an RA for H Building 1, South Side. My major is communications with an emphasis in business and nonprofit. And a fun fact about me is I like Starbucks. Love Starbucks.
I'm Susu. I'm a RA for University Glen Town Center, Building A. I'm a psychology major, and a fun fact about me is that this is my first semester here.
All right, so I have a list of questions to ask these amazing students and people and lots of my life. If you have questions, go to the Facebook event, The Inspiration, our recruitment for 2014-2015, and just ask your question there. A few RAs will answer them starting at 6 p.m. tonight, but we'll also check that throughout the course of this recruitment cycle and answer questions as they come up. So for all of you, my first question is, what is your favorite part about being an RA?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
My favorite part is getting to know each resident because they all kind of teach you something different and they all have like different perspectives, different personalities. And I know there's like certain things that I've learned from cultures that I didn't know about before I started this, and it's like really interesting to get to know about everyone's like different backgrounds.
The coolest thing for me is probably when I'm just walking around campus, like in the library or something like that. I just see a resident of mine that I either have had in the past or I have now, and just to be able to say hi to them and catch up for a second, or even just wave. It's just a cool feeling to feel like you know a lot of people on this campus.
One of my favorite things is the RA team itself. I really like the different dynamics that we have. There's 29 of us, and you almost feel like they're just like your immediate friends, and it's just really cool. So I like having that close group.
I can concur with Kat and say one of my favorite things is just interacting with my residents and yes, an RA on duty.
RA on duty, this is Brooke.
Something
Unscripted.
Yeah, something that happens frequently is when you're on duty, you get calls in the middle of things. Continue, Ashton.
Like I concur with Kat, one of my favorite things is talking to my residents, seeing them around campus, and having them be friends and kind of like my children, family, seeing them around, interacting, and just getting to know them on a name basis.
My favorite thing about being an RA is the moment when your residents do something for you, like make you something or give you a little gift, because it shows that they were thinking about you, and it's really cool because that shows that they obviously like you enough that they thought about you and thought they'd be nice and do something for you. It's my favorite part.
Thank you all. So one of the best things about being an RA personally is that you are forced sometimes to really grow and learn about yourself. Kat and Ashton talked about that a little bit. So what type of growth have you observed in yourself since becoming a resident assistant?
Before this job, I guess,
That was not a duty call.
it was just an accident. So before this job, I've been here 2 years, and I wasn't really one to go out and, I guess, talk to people. I was more, not introvert, because I am very talkative, but, when I'm walking down to, a class or something, I was kind of, on my phone, just, in my own zone. And, now, that's completely different. When I'm walking, I'm actually, looking up to see who I see, on the way. way. Like I'll say hi to people. Sometimes the residents will stop me like and ask me like a question what they have, like whether it's school or just personal things. And it's I guess like I'm more social now.
For me, I was in RA last year, and I worked with freshmen. And this year, up in Town Center, it's all 21 and up. So I really had to learn how to adapt to a different culture and climate of residents. And I think I've just grown a lot from that because, you know, it's one thing to work with a certain group of people for an entire year, and you can make that your own, but to like be put into a completely different environment, you know, it's just changed the way I look at how I deal with certain situations with different people, which is what this job is all about. And, you know, I feel like I'm getting experience in that, which is a lifelong experience.
The personal growth I see, I was a freshman last year, and then now being a sophomore this year, seeing where I was a year ago and how much I've grown and how much I've adapted to the campus. Growing with the position, I've learned so much about time management and having an actual schedule where I'm going to be, when I'm studying, when I'm not going to study, when I'm hanging out with friends and all that stuff, and keeping my priorities straight.
Something I've learned to work on is public speaking. Before, that was a really big weakness on me. I know that sounds really simple, but if you're going to have this job, you're going to be talking to your residents at floor meetings in a big group setting, or when you have your village floor meeting in the beginning of the year, and you really have to conquer that here. So that kind of forced me to get out of my comfort zone.
How do you feel about having an audience of potentially millions of people on YouTube?
It's fine, because I can't see their faces right now.
So one of the things that we talk about with RAs is your student leader and that you're student first. How have your academics been impacted by this position, and how have you had to adjust to meet the requirements of the position?
Well, I mean, I guess there's more pressure to like make sure you actually have your grades because you don't want to fail. But at the same time, like I've always been kind of like school first, so I'd say it's kind of the same. Because either way, like I have to pass my classes, and like I'm always going to do my best when it comes to academics. Like,
I'm not the best academic student, like at all. I never have been, never really will be. This job requirement is a 2.5 GPA, cumulative and semester-wise. And for me, my first semester here, like I didn't get a 2.5, so it was hard my first year to really like, you know, keep up with my grades and whatnot, because you know this job does get crazy sometimes. But overall, since I've had this job, my GPA has actually gone up a lot. So I can just say being involved in the more things you do, and having an RA team, and knowing all the resources, and you know all that stuff, it's helped me out actually. So.
My academics have been impacted just a little bit, just like separating things, and because usually I would go to class and come back and do my work, but now it's, you know, go to class, you know, set up for an event, and have that time for homework. I guess that's my academics impact, just having it scheduled for now, instead of going back to our room and chilling and doing my homework whenever.
The one thing that has affected me is that I learned I can't procrastinate. I can't leave things last minute, because when you do, you never know when something comes up, because you're technically somewhat always working, because if something happens with your residents, you have to address it. You can't just push it off for later. So as long as you do things ahead of time, you should be good.
That's good. So you are all have been in this position for at least a semester. What is one thing you wish you knew before you become an RA?
how much time time management you actually have to do. Because for events, you definitely have to have that ahead of time. And honestly, like I've been here two years before I actually had the RA job, and I never really knew how much you had to actually put into an event. So seeing how much actually goes into an event, like I would have wanted to know that ahead of time, just because that is like the most time consuming, I guess, for me. But at the same time, like seeing how many people go, how much they learn from it, and then like how much fun they actually have at some of these events, it's worth it.
I think the one piece of advice I would like to know is to just, sometimes it's okay to just stop and to, smell the roses and just take a deep breath for a second, because especially like when when you very first become an RA and you're trying to do door decks and all that kind of stuff, your head's running around, you're trying to get everything ready, and you need to remember to just breathe sometimes. So it took me a while to learn that.
It took me a while to balance things because I've got 4 lives going. I've got a social life, family life, work life, and an academic life. And I wish I could have known how much stress I would have. And I kind of concur with James about taking a walk and going out with friends, going out to eat and stuff like that. So.
What I wish I knew was just towards events is when you're shopping for events or you're preparing for events, there's a lot of details you don't realize you need until it comes. So I wish I was told to pay attention to the small things because you're left unprepared.
So my last question, and people watching this may be like in the middle of finishing their application, they're wondering if they should even do the application. What's one recommendation you would give to a prospective candidate, and why?
Just apply. It doesn't hurt to apply. Whether you decide it's for you or not, you at least put in an application. You're not like regretting it later, like, oh, what if I would have actually turned in an application? Like, I didn't do it, now the application deadline's over. When I actually applied for this job, I still wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to do it, but I did it anyways, and going through that first process, that's when I decided for sure, I want to do this. This looks like something I can do. I'll learn from this, and I have grown from this, so I'm kind of glad I did apply.
For me, I'd say one piece of advice I'd give is the application process for the RA job it's a long process, and there's many steps to it. And if you're applying for it right now or reading along, you'll see that. The one piece of advice I would give is, take it one step at a time and really give it your all, because I've seen seeing the process now a couple times. There's some people who they don't try right off the bat, and then that just kind of looks like, oh, they don't want to be involved, they don't want to be here. So my piece of advice to you is that if you really want to do this job and you really are a people person, give it your all and make sure you're 100% the whole time, because it's a long process, but it's also a long year. And it's important advice for all the RAs is you don't want to get burned out. So.
Before you start, I actually want to add to something. It does sound like we have a lot of work, but at the same time, we're not going through this by ourselves. Like Brooke had mentioned earlier, there's 29 of us, and we all have each other's back, so we tend to help each other. So you're not going to go through this alone. If you need help, you can ask for help, and it's all right. We're supposed to be the student leaders, but at the same time, we need help too. So it's all right to ask.
And we do.
Yeah.
Advice I would have is come in strong, apply strong, believe in yourself, be yourself, and as long as you're doing that, you'll be just fine.
Thank you, Oprah.
One piece of advice I would give is definitely just be yourself. Don't be the applicant that you think that they're looking for. Typically you would think an RA is outgoing and super friendly and out there and just everything. But we have a variety of personalities on the team. We have outgoing people, we have quiet people, and a lot of the times we want to see other people try new things, just like how Kat said she was quiet at first and now she's really outgoing. So that's what we strive for. So just be yourself.
For sure.
So with that, thank you, RA Awesomes.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you.
RA awesome.
RA Awesomes. The A in RA stands for awesome.
True.
If you have
It's not
questions, Rocket, really awesome. If you have questions, RAs will be checking the Facebook event page from 6 to 6:30, 7 today, answering questions live. If you post a question after that, we will answer as soon as we can. Rewatch this video, rewatch the webinar, watch other fun videos of cats.
And if you have questions, seek any of us out too.
Let any of us know.
Ask your RA if you're in housing and through the process, obviously.
Exactly. So, thank you all.
Yay.